Welcome to IPL 5. This is Gwin here with Quantic Gaming, and I have with me a man who really doesn't need an intro. It's none other than djWHEAT. Wheat, we're in Vegas. You're not working.
Yeah.
Are you having a good time?
I'm having a great time. I mean, as a spectator, Vegas is a place where you have some fun. So I haven't played any video games, but I played some other games while I've been out here. But it's been a lot of fun. It's, sometimes when you're spending so much time casting, focusing on, organization of events, you forget why you're doing it. And it is for the spectators, right? It is for the players and whatnot. But ultimately, those spectators, that audience, like they come, they take the time out to make it there. And so it's nice to be in those shoes. I think it renews my appreciation for like why, I like to do this so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I mean, I think at MLG Dallas, for instance, I watched one game of StarCraft, and it happens, right?
And it goes by so quick. It's just like the weekend's over. Yeah, and you're like, wow, I just worked through the whole event. So yeah, I understand.
So it's great that you got time to reinvigorate a little bit, maybe, recharge that battery.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the end of the year too, like 2012, it's been crazy. So, I'm here on behalf of Twitch too. So it's great to come out with all the Twitch folks and just kind of like have some fun and, just again, like kick off and celebrate a fantastic 2012.
Absolutely. So talking a little bit about 2012, we've seen the rise of another giant in esports in League of Legends.
Right.
We've seen, the Dota 2, the Invitational, which was amazing. And we've kind of seen a lot of change in esports, maybe a little bit of a decline in viewership on StarCraft. If you were going to sum up like the state of esports in a short bit, what would it be?
I mean, the state of esports as I see it right now is a lot of money, a lot of support, and the major focus seems to be strategy/team-based games. This specifically gearing more towards the StarCraft, the League of Legends, the Dota. But it's really strange because I come from an era where FPS dominated the field. And, it's one of those things, especially in PC gaming, it's just kind of like you wonder when that's going to shift. Like, when will this focus actually change? And, a lot of times it just frankly comes down to what is popular at the time.
Yeah.
Like, could anyone have predicted that we would have 3 strategy games in the limelight at the same time? Like 5 years ago, if you would have told me that an RTS, an action RTS, 2 MOBAs, whatever, would be the cream of the crop, I might say that's not what the current trends say, but this is remarkable. So the state of esports is the best it's ever been. We're still going through some nice growing pains, which growing pains are good, folks, because it's like...
It means you're growing.
Yeah, exactly. And no pain, no gain, right? So it may lend to some new hurdles. It may lend to some tough times. This for teams, for players, for organizations, for sponsors. But the fact that it continues to grow is the number one thing that is important to me.
All right, really well said there. Talk to me, because you came, like you said, from an FPS background.
Right.
How do you choose which games to spend your personal time? Because, let's be honest here, you're a huge figure in this community, and what you spend your time on matters to a lot of people, and it probably matters to the people organizing those tournaments or the producers of those games as to whether they're going to be successful.
Sure. So for me personally, I will watch anything, right? If it's got competitive spirit behind it, money, an organization, a tournament, whatever, I'll usually watch. I can't obviously watch everything. No one can. But for me, the biggest thing that has me shifting from games, or maybe my focus, is just what I love to play. Like back in the day, I loved Quake. I played Quake almost exclusively when I started, casting like Counter-Strike and Unreal Tournament. I just played them, it was a game I got into. StarCraft 2 is a game that I really, really got into. And I grew up with, in esports, knowing about the Brood War legacy and not necessarily playing it, but watching the sport just develop at such a rapid pace and, getting to know some of the big talents out there. And just from being exposed to it, I kind of, learned a lot about StarCraft, Brood War. So when the sequel came out, I was like, all right, I don't have to like spend 8 years trying to catch up to someone. It's like it's time to really dive into it. And I never would have guessed that StarCraft 2 would have been a game that I would have, will spend 5-6 hours just playing if I ever have 5-6 hours. So the same is to be said for League of Legends. Took me a little while to get into the game, but once you find what you like to play, you start to really dig it, and then you take a bigger interest in it. And it's kind of happening with Dota as well. So this does, for me personally, make it a little bit more difficult for new games because not every single game catches my eye. Not every single game I have enough time to play. So even though my focus may shift from time to time, what's most important is that I still support everything, whether that be the fighters, whether that be one of the MOBAs, whether that be StarCraft 2, a new FPS, just the supporting of esports in general is important. But, I like to cast what I like to play. Yeah. So to me, that's kind of like my own personal rule.
Really good insight there. So I think we'll see you then still with some StarCraft 2 in the near future, at least for a while, right?
Oh, I mean, like Heart of the Swarm has me really excited. I think I was a little, I had to be warmed up to it a little bit. And so many changes happened in beta. Like, no one should expect to just like the first patch comes out, the game's ready, let's do it. But seeing the development, like, it excites me because think back to 2012, 2011, when StarCraft, really, really just started growing and exploding. And think about all the shifts in metagames that we saw. And now think about how much more advanced our players are going into a new game. So it's just going to be so awesome to see who adapts well, how the new really micro-oriented units change the way some of these pro gamers are playing, and maybe even improving the success of certain pro gamers that maybe can handle more micro than another one. That's really exciting. Like, I'm really just excited about that. So absolutely, I've been playing the hell out of Heart of the Swarm when I can, and I really look forward to March 16th, I think it is, 13th, mid-March.
Somewhere there.
Yeah.
Really, totally excited about that as well. Glad that you're not jumping games on us. You're going to do some HOTS here.
Yeah,
really excited about that. Talking about kind of the year in retrospect, 2012 in retrospect for StarCraft, if you had to pick the most valuable player, the MVP for StarCraft for 2012, who is it?
There's so many different, I feel like there's so many different angles I could take on here. And I feel like the name that instantly comes to my mind is one that probably isn't going to be very popular. But one of the major storylines that unfolded before 2012 was the foreigners versus the Koreans. Okay. And then in 2012, we got a new storyline, and that was the foreigners versus the Koreans versus Pro League, the Brood War veterans. And I was on board with everyone, like, what's going to happen? Will any of them be worth a damn? Are they going to be amazing? And I really think that Rain, the Protoss player for Pro League, is just like it for me. It was like satisfying to see a player who you knew had immaculate talent from Brood War and was really able to translate that into something that could turn him into a champion and a winner in StarCraft 2. Because a lot of people said it couldn't happen. A lot of people said, well, it might happen, but it's going to take a long time. Yeah. And I feel like he was against the odds. Yeah. And so even though it really discredits, I think, a lot of the amazing accomplishments of so many players this year, like Rain kind of beat the odds. So I really have to give him my MVP.
All right. There it is. So the MVP from djWHEAT is going to be none other than SKT1 Rain.
Yep.
And a little bit closer to home here at IPL, who do you think is going to take IPL here in Vegas?
I'll tell you what. I am definitely going to give you an answer from my heart because first off, I'm a Zerg player, so I'm pretty happy with the results. But I personally feel like one of the most underrated Zerg players on the planet is Violet.
100% agree.
Yeah, and so Violet being in the grand finals, like maybe finally people are going to go, this guy's really good. Like, you know, someone in the crowd yesterday was like, hey, who do you think's going to win it? And this was when it was Holt, Leenock, Violet, and Symbol, excuse me. And I was like, you know, I think that if Violet beats Symbol, that he's got a really good chance. And the guy just looked at me like I was crazy, like I was talking in another language. And I was like, do you really not think that he could take it? He's like, yeah, but there's all these other players. And I said, you know, Violet is a unique player. He always has unique builds. Every time someone says he can't beat someone, he beats someone. Yeah. And he's a great guy, too. So my heart says, put your chips on Violet. Right. Him being in the finals, this is very reminiscent of a few of the other tournaments that he won where he did not lose at all leading up to it. One of the MLG arenas is a good example. So I think he could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually my MVP for the year. Violet is. Yeah.
You know what? I would have probably picked Violet if it hadn't been, you know, for rain. So I'm with you.
I mean, just like, I think every tournament he showed up to has been a top 8 finish.
Yeah. I mean, but still, some folks have just not necessarily, you know, given that credit. So I'm with you. I think Violet could very well take it, and it would be such an amazing win for him.
All right. Well, I think that kind of wraps it up here. Any last words, Wheat, before we let you get back to dinner, I believe?
Yeah, sure. I just want to say thanks to everyone who tunes in to, you know, all the content we do on OneMoreGame.tv, and thanks for supporting Twitch, which has obviously been a huge leader in helping esports grow and you know, be more accessible to a lot of people. I just want to give a special shout out to Sir Scoots, who announced today that he is actually no longer going to be doing Live on 3 with us. You know, he's been a great staple for about 100 episodes or so, and you know, always a great friend. I hate to see him go, but I understand other things coming up, and you know, I wish him the best of luck. So, Scoots, you're the man, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
All right, I think that wraps it up here. This is Gwin with Quanic. We'll see you with the next interview.